Aloha, welcome to Netra's News. I'm Netra Halperin, and I'm very pleased to have here in my studio today Layla Sheikh. She's a refugee from Somalia and a human rights activist. And before we talk about this, it's very exciting, I want to talk about my sponsors. So my sponsor is Threes Bar and Grill, and they're over in Kihei, and they have Southwestern, Pacific Rim, very delicious cuisine over in Kihei, Kalama Villages. So absolutely go check them out. They're the newest, hottest place in Kihei. So Layla, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
And I know you wanted to say something to your kids right away.
Yes. Mohammed and Hannah, if you are watching this, I wanted to say to you, I'm sorry, Hoyo. I'm so sorry that we separated. I'm so sorry that I'm not there with you. I want you to know that there's nothing I want in the whole world than to be with you. I want us to be together. So as you taught me, as you are my teacher, you are my light. With you, without you, I cannot live. But I want you to know that be good to all, as you always been good. And to know that I love you so much, and I will do everything I can for us to be together. And I love you so much. Thank you for your patience. Tell Mom, everyone, I love you too. You know who you are. I love you, everyone. And just be patient and hang there with me. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you. And to maybe give some background of your life. Yeah. You know, this is kind of like the current of your children, of the situation with your children. And I want to hear about, tell me about your childhood. So you were raised in Somalia.
Yeah, I was raised in Somalia. I was born in the city of Mogadishu in 1980, July 25th. So we had a great life. My mother and my father are two different clans who both don't belong in Mogadishu. So the Somalis are more territorial. And Mogadishu is the city of Somalia, but it belongs to Hawaii clan. So my father traveled he was drafted when he was young and trained, and he went to training as a doctor in Italy, and he went back. So he was a tribal chief and a doctor for the Hawaii clan. But they were both from Darod clan, my mother and my father.
Okay.
So they also had a fight going on. They were enemy tribal, my mother and my father.
So even between the tribes of the clans of your mom and dad, there was fighting?
Yeah, there was fighting. I used to wake up my grandmother, my father's mother, saying, kill the Ogaden, kill the Ogaden, which was my mother's clan.
That must have been really frightening and traumatic as a child.
Yeah, it was. It was frightening for them because my father rescued her to bring to the city, and she was growing old and remembering all these memories, and she would have a nightmares. It's not like we had, at the time, we didn't have the civil war. We were in the city, and my clan owns half the city. So my father's clan was very rich and owned half the city, and so we were in the city. There wasn't in a civil war, but my grandmother was having nightmares about the civil war.
Nightmares.
Yeah, about the civil war my father clan and my mother clan had. So my father's clan didn't like my mother's clan.
So that was one of the things that was difficult.
Yes.
And also you talked about that when you were a child and the way women were treated. How did you feel about that?
Well, first thing I remember, my mother was 3 years old. First thing I remember she's telling me is, I never want a man to take advantage of you. And that's why I named you Layla.
And that means?
That means there's an inspired woman who name was Layla, always stand up for herself and wasn't submissive to a man, abusive.
Okay.
So that's why she said that I want you to be strong. Maybe too strong now.
Well, I mean, you're a survivor, and the more you hear Layla's story, I mean, the more you're going to see Layla is amazing. I mean, it's amazing what you have survived through. So, what happened when the government was overthrown?
Well, before the government was overthrown, as my father was tribal for the Hawaii clan, what had happened was my father married my mother, and my father was rich, and he told her that he would give her a thing. He bought her a huge necklace and everything when they met. But my mother's clan was resistant to my mother marrying my father. First of all, he was twice her age.
Oh, he was older. Okay.
Yeah, and the second, they were enemy tribal. So my father showered my mother with money and everything, and she
wooed her.
Yeah, he told her, like, you will be, you know, you'll have money and you'll have everything you need, because she was the poor clan. Okay. And I'll take care of your family. I'll build them houses. We have a houses. He owned it already. Yeah. They can live in. So we lived there, and then my mother had 3 of us when she had the 3rd child. Because my father was not around always, he was in the military and traveling Ethiopia. We were with the Ethiopia too. So he was always a lot of time gone, all in the military base and training or trading. So eventually when I was like 5 years old, we left the city. My father took us to close to with him because he wanted to control my mother.
But what happened when the day that the okay, so you were living there, you were living a normal life, and then the government of Somalia was taken over.
Not before it was,
but when it happened.
Yeah.
So you know, you were 5 and then you were 11. So when you were 11 years old, what happened that day that the government of Somalia was taken over?
Well, I wanted to give you first, I wanted to give people the background of the history of why the government was overthrown.
Okay, why was it?
And then the history of how I myself dealt with it. Okay. As because you asked me a question about the women, how my mother herself was, we were like, all of a sudden we were rich, and my father married this, and then all of a sudden we were taken away and we were put in Hawaii clan. In the territory clan, in a military base, next to little house to the military place. And then he gave us there a farm and a cows and goats. We were rich people, we don't belong there. He just wanted to have my mother right there so he can get a control of him. A control of her, because that's the way the culture is. The woman's supposed to be submissive. But then we lived in Hawaii, and then we used to, that's when I get to know the Hawaii clan and how they don't agree with the government, because the government were ruled by my clan, my Darot clan, and that's the time they were saying, oh, we want to overthrow the government because they don't want to share the wealth with us, they don't want to educate us. And so there was a lot of abuse. I myself dealt with it, you know, at that time, because I was not supposed to be in that territory. Although my father was a chief for them, and they sing brazen songs. So I was trying to give you like a forward, move forward,
to get up to how it got to there.
Yes, to get to the war. And so we were there. We spent there I was there from 5 years old to 11. Then when I was 11 years old, we moved back. My mother couldn't take it. She kidnapped us, and she sneaked back to the city where we owned the houses, where her relatives were living in for free. But before that happens, you know, I was with those territorial enemies, and so they used to say, we don't like you, you know, they used to throw me in the river because the Darot clan, I mean, you know, I can see the justice from there I can see, I can understand the hate from their perspective, because the government, which will rule my clan, was not sharing the wealth.
Yeah.
They were not educating the Hawaii. They come to Hawaii clan, take over, build the houses, to rule the government, and yet they refuse to educate them and help them, give a hand. So,
and that's what you were telling me before, that when you were in the situation, you of course saw things like everybody in your clan did.
Yeah.
But then when you left and you became educated and you started understanding the big picture, then you can understand how the other clan hated, your clan was in charge.
Yeah.
You could understand now how they would be angry at you, because you had a perspective instead of, you know, just living in one little place your whole life. You could see.
Yes, I was also I was seen as an enemy at the time, and that's why that was a good point. It helped me when I came out of it, because I was hurt by them, you know.
Of course.
And every day I take the cows to the bush, because I was the oldest for my mother, and we had to get by. My mother said she'll take care of the farms and deal with that all day, and I will take the cows to the bush, and they will say, "Look, the past." You know, how they call the darod, the bass, like they get on your face because they're on their territory. Okay. You're on my face.
Yeah.
Why are you on my face? I gotta get rid of you. You know.
So they were really mean to you.
Yeah, because they have reason, you know, to be. And they would throw me in the river and joke me around. There was a lot of rape and a lot of beating, and a lot of things happen. And also the saying of their complaints, you know, as a child, you know, listening as their complaints, and that's why even myself in that situation, I make myself, because I'm, you know, enlightened with my education, I can look at it as perspective.
In backside, in hindsight, you can understand.
Yeah, I can understand. And then one day we went to the city, and we were in the city for like 9 months before the Civil War happened, and we get attacked, because there were a few times they get attacked in the city. But obviously the government were able to get a control these warlords. Okay. So one morning we get attacked, and we're running away, and we're like just gone, and no one realized that, you know, what was most confusing is how these warlords get weapons to overthrow the government.
And where do you think they got the weapons?
Well, people say a lot of stuff, you know. There's a lot of talk. It came through Ethiopia, through Jewish who trying to distract and cause self-destruction to the community, the Muslim. There's a lot of stuff. The reality is, you know, who knows? I don't know.
Right, but you're saying that these are warlords, so they're not necessarily that wealthy. And
no,
so you're
they're
saying
not.
That there's some government or some entity outside of Somalia that you think wanted the overthrow and that supplied guns to these warlords.
It only makes sense, right?
It only makes sense, yeah. I mean, there's always more
the
to
whole
every
government
story.
for last 4 generations overthrown in hours.
In hours. So what happened when it was overthrown? What happened that day?
We just had to run. Luckily, we were more fittest because we you know, I grew up in the jungle running for my life and chasing the cows and carrying stuff. So we were more shape. Although we were good shape, so we were able to run. A lot of people went morning. My mother went to the store to get some groceries to prepare for lunch, and then we get attacked. She came back halfway from where she was going, and we just ran. And we didn't take it seriously. We thought, oh,
this happens every other month.
Yeah, it just happens once a while, and it's not a big deal. You know, there's no way, no one ever thought the richest people in the country were the poorest for, you know, next day. The banks shut down, everything.
Just total collapse.
Total collapse. The buildings, bombs all over the place. Bodies laying. You'll see legs laying all over the body. You see half body over there. The leg is over there. You see a mother get shot. A child is screaming right next to her. Ugh.
It was horrible.
Horrible, horrible, horrible. And then we had to run away, and the worst was, that was worse, but it was more difficult even when people were dying again, running away and dying for hunger and dehydration.
Yeah. So you were telling me that you ran and you had to, there was wild animals chasing you, or you'd wake up and there was snakes sleeping with you. And
oh, that is after we ran away, and then running in the jungle, and we were going to my mother's territory, because my father is the pirates. We're the pirates. I mean, I'm not the pirate or anything like that, and I don't know. Not my brothers or sisters are pirates. My family are really good. We were taught, my mother and my father, always to respect the laws. Laws are built to our benefit. So we were always taught that even religions, my mother would say, even religions to teach you to respect the laws.
Right.
So none of my brothers and sisters, but we, my clan and some of my cousins I have. Yeah, East Coast. East Coast is where the pirates came from, generally.
And was there, once the government had been taken over, was there anybody to stand up to other governments as far as if they were, doing things to harm the country?
No. There is no protection. There's no protection for the people. There's no protection from people from one another, and there's no protection from outsiders.
Yeah.
They left alone for 21 years. 21 years for no protection. Can you imagine? Can you imagine no one?
Just to live with such a deep emotion, and when I try and sleep, I see coffins closer.
Let's talk about the pirates in Somalia. Do you have any thoughts, or is there anything you want to share about that? Or you
yeah, sure.
Talk about
no, I could talk about it. I just wrote a piece actually about the pirates. My publicist is actually getting in touch with the New York Times. They might print something of mine as an opinion piece on the pirate scenario, because it's really complicated. People here don't understand. I mean, either you're like watching TV and it reminds you of Pirates of the Caribbean and you think it's funny, or you're just like, these crazy Somalis, what are they doing now? Like, and the truth of the matter is that piracy in my country has a deeper issue, and there's a reason why this has started. Most Somalis will tell you they can't readily condemn pirates. And the reason why is because you've got the nuclear age now, right? And so with nuclear power, and I'm talking about positive nuclear power, like using it for things like electricity and whatever, you have a lot of remainder, which is now called nuclear toxic waste. They don't really know what to do with that stuff yet. So they put them in containers, and they got companies, private companies, which are hired by governments to get rid of and dispose of these nuclear toxic wastes. Now, since the early 90s, when the government in my country collapsed, these private companies have illegally been dumping nuclear toxic waste containers on the shores of Somalia. Nobody was there to protect them, and the fishermen who was there in the coastal lines would complain time and again. It got to the United Nations Security Council and was ignored and thrown out. It was months after that who we are now calling pirates, these men mobilized themselves, these fishermen, and got street militias from the streets and brought them on board into the ocean to protect the Somali waters. What they would do initially is whatever ships they thought was suspicious and crossing illegally into Somali waters, they would hijack them and hold them for ransom. Of course, later on, the greed and the lure of money got too much, so the men became legitimate pirates, and there are so many of them now in the ocean, and they're unstoppable now. And they take every ship from 400 nautical miles away outside of the shores. They go get them from somewhere. And they're just gangstering the ocean now. But the truth is that all of that started because of these Western companies dumping nuclear toxic waste on our shores. Thing is, though, the UN and the European Union and the US, NATO, all of them are now sending forces, naval forces, to the Somali shores, to our region, so that they may defeat pirates. But nobody's talking about those ships that are dumping nuclear toxic waste on our shores, because they're still doing it. And these pirates are still out there because they know this is still going on. And so that's the complicated scenario of my country. I would say that if you want the piracy to stop dumping nuclear toxic waste in our country. It is much worse, much more heinous and sinister crime than piracy could ever be. Piracy is just robbery at sea. These men don't kill their captives, they just take money, right? That's robbery. What you're doing is you're trying to destroy a generation.
Stay tuned, this is the game of life, and these are the cards I've been dealt. Give you the real deal, live footage that you can feel for yourself. It's uncut and raw, ghetto reporter since before the new world was in order, embedded in places you dreaded.
That's very intense to find out about that, and I think what it shows is things are never what they seem. You know, yes, on the one hand, there's some of the pirates who are just trying to get what they can, and some of the pirates are trying to protect the country from nuclear waste.
Yeah.
Because there's no government to say, stop this. The people have to take things into their own hands. So things are often not what they appear.
What they appear, yeah.
So Layla, you are in the midst of writing a book.
Yes.
Called Coming to America.
Yes.
And what does that book talk about?
Okay, can I give shout out to Kanan?
Yeah.
Kanan, you rule, brother. Keep doing what you're doing. Hopefully we'll connect soon.
Okay. Yes, another awesome brother in speaking the truth and letting people know what's really going on.
Yeah, and the fact that he's bringing people together,
Exactly.
Togetherness, unity, Somalia, unity, okay?
That's right.
Walaalayaal kulligeen ba haddaan isu imaano kulligeen waan isu caawin doonaa waa inaan kulligeen is caawino afxumada la iska daayaa wanaagsan.
Yes.
Yeah. I just say that we gotta come together and not be apart. Just unity. Yeah.
Not fighting amongst, because that's why when a movement can't be effective, when people aren't together, when they're fighting against each other.
Yes. Yes, and there is a common, I have a YouTube where my family, the YouTube film where the family find me. And
so your family found you because you made a film on YouTube, and your family in Somalia was looking at the internet, and they found you.
My sister escaped, who's in Malaysia at the time. She was in Malaysia, yeah. And she said that she couldn't sleep. She didn't have that problem. She couldn't sleep. And 3 a.m. at night, she was looking through the computer, and she found me this YouTube, and she couldn't she recognized me, of course, of all the millions of the, but because when I came in, I had all covered up, and all you can see is my face. Of course, she recognized the face, and she called me, and they were like, if this is you, I'm her sister. I guess she didn't know who uploaded the video or something. But anyhow, it was amazing that my brother, she sent email to my brother who works for UN in Mogadishu at the time, not anymore. Now they because all this is for dangerous for the employees to, now he lost his job because this chaos. He was working for UN.
Okay, so he was doing something. He got himself a job that had some influence, and he was able to help with his understanding, same like you, understanding of what it's like in those countries.
Very smart, yeah. My family are very smart, and I'm so proud of my brother. He's so smart. I am so proud. I can't wait to team up with them.
Yeah.
And very good. And he was doing that, and he sent me email because my brother named Ali Nasser, It's a very unusual name in Somalia, not a
Okay.
lot of people. And then I get this email, he's saying, Ali Nasser, in regards, call. And I was like shaking. I was like, what, who is this? I do have a brother called Ali Nasser, but who is this? And he was like, he sent me email saying, I'm the one.
I'm the one. I'm your brother.
I'm your brother.
Oh, wow.
I couldn't speak, overjoyed. Oh, I called my mother. He connected me with them that same day. Within 3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of my friends suggested to upload the video. I was like, no way my family will find me YouTube in a million years. No way.
Well, that just shows the internet is international.
International. God bless. You know, technology is awesome thing.
It's an awesome thing.
It is.
It is.
Yeah.
It can bring the people of the world together.
Oh yeah. Thank God for technology. I connected with my family. So.
Oh, wait, hold on a second. I just want to let people know this is a call-in live show, and you can call in, and our number is, I think, 873-3430. So 873-3430. So if you would like to ask Layla a question, make a comment, you're very welcome to. So sorry. But I still really want to know, Layla, tell people about what it was like running through the jungle when you were 11 years old.
Yeah.
That's, to me, very interesting.
Yeah. It was a miracle. The fact that I'm alive is a miracle. And I shouldn't be alive, statistically.
Yeah,
but
all the dangers.
Yeah, for all the dangers I went through. We ran away, and then we were trying to find my mother. My mother's clan, as I say, was a poor clan, and they have a camels. They live in the jungle. They have a camels, the goats and stuff. So we were trying to locate with find my father's territory, and we were running through my mother's clan's territory, and they didn't like us. They was like, because we look slightly different from her clan. And because they were like, we don't want this clan. I mean, they didn't kill us, luckily.
Yeah.
But they didn't want us there until we get to my father's area, which we went out. At some point, we went out. We were gone, and this old man rescued us in his camel and take us to my grandfather's area. And it was very struggle. We were surviving with the trees and stuff like that.
Weren't you by yourself some
yeah,
of the
after that, yeah. So we make to my grandfather's area, even my grandfathers, my uncles and stuff like that. Some of them, my mother went to this close village to sell. She will buy a coins and resell it, so she'll make a small profit. And she left us with my grandfather's area. But my uncle, my aunts, not my aunts, some of my aunts, some of the distant aunts, they will get up because my grandfather gave us 2 camels and
camels, yeah.
Yeah, 2 camels and 2 cows and a couple goats to use as a milk, to use the milk and stuff.
Okay, so they gave you something to survive.
To survive.
While you're going through there.
Yeah. But they will get up early in the morning and milk our camels and stuff.
Oh, the people would steal the milk before you could get there.
Because we're majority and they don't like my clan. So I finally came to my mother, and she left me with the thing. But anyhow, I decided, we heard the stories about this refugee camp opening in Kenya.
Okay.
So there were older guys there, and I always wanted to come to America for a starter before this happened in long time, since I was 5 years old.
Since you were, a child.
A child, yeah. So I'm hearing the stuff going on. This refugee may come, so I asked these older guys if I can go with them, and they were like, no, you can't come with us. And I was like, when are you leaving? Oh, we leave in early in the morning, we're leaving out of the city. Some of them, I talk to them, listening to them, how they meet it and everything like that. And meet them over there in the morning. I was there when they get there, waiting for them.
Yeah.
And they were like, no way you can come with us. They were all mad and angry, and they were like calling me names and like, back off, because we don't want to take responsibility for a child.
Yeah, because you were 11 still.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm going whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
And so they walk away. They walk away thinking I'm not going to follow them. So I follow them. And at the end of the day, they found me following them. And they were like so mad. And one of the elders, one was the elder, was so nice to me and talking to me
Somebody
gentle.
was kind, yeah.
Yeah, he was talking to me gentle and saying, Layla, your mother will be worried. You got to go back. It's very dangerous even for us. We don't know if we're going to make it. Go back to your mother. And I was like, no. So they decided to trick me. So they went over there and talked each other, and they were like, okay, we're going to sleep. It's sleeping time. So they slept, and when I wake up in the morning, they were gone. I was all alone.
Then you were alone.
Yeah. So I had to move forward instead of, hitting back. I had to move forward. And it took me a whole year to get to Kenya.
All by yourself?
All by myself.
And what did you eat?
I eat saps. Sometimes I will steal eggs and stuff when people like, not eggs, but someday food and stuff like that. Or
You mean you went by farms or houses? And
Yeah,
you go in and sneak some food?
Yeah, but that was only at the beginning. For the first 6 months, I would do that. And on the road, I'll find, once a while, hide without contacting with people. And get that, sleep on the trees. Finally, I was falling off trees, so I end up digging hole for myself and hiding from the wild animals. And I will dig for, in the end of the day, when it gets around 3 or 4, I will start looking for what tree looks good, or if there's a raining, or if I see a lot of lions in the area. So because the lions, they follow the smell, they can smell you. So by 3 or 4 o'clock, looking at the sun before the sun go down, I will look for my territory where I need to bury myself.
And if you buried yourself, they wouldn't want to eat your head?
No, because I get a bunch of trees and bury myself. I cover it.
Oh, and then you'd put the trees over you?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why, I have to prepare, at least 4 hours before the sun go down.
Because that's a big job.
Yeah, that was a big job. And then some of the areas where they were very hot, so I will wake up in the mornings in my hole, punch snakes bigger than my legs and stuff sometimes. Just laying right next to me, all around me. And that's why it's a miracle I survived.
I think the universe, the creator, God wanted you have an important role to play in the history. And I think that's why, despite the miracle.
Yeah, thank you.
So running is then your I want to show, Layla and I did a little run right here in Kihei, so I want to show that video of us running. So
running is amazing. Running saves my life, and now I wanted to use it, to teach the world that running is beneficial. I mean, other than saving for your life when you have to run for it, it can help you physically and mentally.
Yeah.
Yeah, it taught me discipline. It made me humble. And there's the reasons, I also have a prophecies about
coming to America.
Yeah. So we will, the video, you'll see the video, you'll like it. Me and Netra, we run together. You see Netra striking. Oh, really good.
So,
because we're jogging. Yeah. Wow, you really go quick, Layla. I have to really. Oh, I'm getting tired. She really makes you run hard. This is a very big taskmaster here. So she keeps you really running.
Yeah, it's a part of worship service. Beyond you put yourself out there, you sacrifice. It may not mean anything for anyone, yet it means everything for everyone.
That was fun.
Yeah.
We have some callers on the line, so let's hear from the callers. Who do we have? Okay, Joyce from Wailuku. So hello, Joyce. Welcome to Netra's News.
Hi, Joyce.
Hello.
You're on the air.
My question is, how do you plan to help your family? You speak of such love for your family. Do you have a plan to help your mother and siblings?
Yes, my plan is I wanted to ask Valley Isle, we were going to get into that at the end, to ask Valley Isle if they can help me to organize the event, you know, to raise fundraising, to bring my family. And Joyce, my friend, Joyce, thank you. Joyce is helping me also to connect with people and to get sponsors. So me and Joyce, we were talking about, and we would like the Maui community to help us to bring my family over here and organize a nonprofit organization and connect with the nonprofit organizations that's here already. For hopefully together we can make things happen.
So your family and as many people as
you can. Oh,
yes,
yes. I mean, I wanted to bring my family here. My family, like everyone who has a family, means everything to me. Every day and night I went through that struggle. Up to today, there's no day and night I didn't think about my family and wanting them for a better life and freedom.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Joyce. You're talking about how, being athletic and in shape can save your life physically, actually, and it can also just make you healthier if you're not actually having to run from danger.
Yes, yes. I have to run and save me from running from tribal. I had to survive. Like my book, it's called Coming to America. Coming to America. Yeah, because since I was 5 years old, I wanted to come to this beautiful country. I love my America. It's a beautiful country, and full of opportunities, and full of obstacles. Only if you know how to get around those obstacles and make your dreams happen. Yes. It's possible. It's doable. But when I was 5 years old, I saw this magazine in military place, and since that day on, I wanted to get out of that country. Yeah. I wanted to get out. I used to be mad to be a female in Somalia. Yeah. I was very angry that the women do not get enough respect, equal respect. I used to be angry for God, why you made me a woman and made me born this country. But the fact is, when you think about it, every history, even European countries, went through a civil wars where they don't treat women good. Yeah. We all know history that it's not about Somalians. Don't get mad, Somalia guys or Somali women. Don't get mad. Get glad.
Right. Realize you can impact. Realize that we can all impact.
Use your energy towards positive.
Exactly.
And to trying to make a difference instead of using angry, saying, "Oh, why are you saying that? You're not telling the truth. Why are you making me look bad?" Well, I'm not making you look bad. I'm just trying to help you, okay?
So you're saying that when you put this YouTube out, that some Somalis were upset that you were basically airing dirty laundry for the rest of the world.
Yes, I get a lot of nasty words on my YouTube comments, and that is not cool. I never ever say anything angry, bad. I always encourage people. Sometimes I understand you can get angry. It's understandable because I used to be angry. I used to be hating, and that's why I'm not frustrated with you when you're angry, but let's come together. I know Somalis are very smart people, very productive people. There's a saying in Somali, there's a saying in African saying, if you give Somali a lemon, they will grow a lemon farm.
Exactly. Very industrious.
Yeah, very industrial, very, very smart people. And I feel very unfortunate that our government was overthrown when it was developing. But, hey, take responsibility for your own self.
Yeah.
Take responsibility for your own self and be responsible, and don't say somebody else overthrow you. If I take off my shoes and throw it away to you, regardless of who told me to do that, I'm responsible.
Right.
So the reality is Somalis are responsible for themselves. Every nation is responsible for their own. Find out, come together and find out what's causing you for destruction, and don't come together, don't be against each other. We will never unite as long we're against each other.
And I think that's what happens a lot, is that in many countries where the government, many times government will use people against each other to take the heat off of them. So if the government is basically stealing all the resources for themselves, and the people are poor and the people are angry, because being poor is definitely something to be angry about.
Yes.
And then there's lots of propaganda that the government will put out, and that'll pit people against each other.
Yes.
And then they're fighting each other, and they don't look and see, okay, why are we poor?
Yeah.
Why are we oppressed?
Yeah.
Oh, let's look. And that's what I think is really important.
That's a very good point. That is exactly what had happened in my country.
Yeah.
Exactly like that. So the government, we don't want to become the government. We don't, we've got to respect the laws. And we got to respect those who lead the laws, our leaders. But our leaders need to respect our rights.
Exactly.
And what they don't respect, we don't talk about over here, la, 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 la. We talk to them.
Exactly.
We write to them, we say it, this is not cool.
Exactly.
Let's take a different step.
Exactly.
Instead of becoming enemy, become cooperative.
Right.
And work towards progress.
And because, it's all very tricky. I mean, it's like what you were saying. When you were young, when you lived in Somalia and you were in your clan, you saw things only from the perspective of your clan. And then when you left and you became educated, you saw the big picture.
Yes.
And that's why I think, especially even in America, education is the key. And why I really promote, we need to teach critical thinking, we need to teach empathy, we need to give kids experiences of what it's like to put yourself in somebody else's shoes. And that's why a lot of young people, when they finish school, they travel to learn, because now you see the whole picture.
Yes. Yeah, sometimes, it's always good to have opportunity to travel and to see a bigger picture, but sometimes you don't have to travel to see the picture.
Yeah.
I'm here. You can get involved people who are like you doing, you volunteering, no one is paying you. I'm volunteering, no one is paying me. Volunteer your time, speak up, and speak towards positive progress.
Exactly.
Yeah. So ignorance, education is very important.
Exactly.
And the reason that I'm not with my children right now is a part of the ignorance. I was in this country, I didn't know the language, I didn't know the culture, I didn't know what to expect. And then some of the system didn't treat me ethically, they didn't treat me, right, because every situation is unique.
Right.
Yeah. If you want to, treat a tree, if you want to, you get to land a tree and you see how that tree grows, more water, less water, more sun.
Right.
You get to find out the solution. You get to give the effort to get to know the person. If you don't know the problem, you cannot find a solution.
Exactly. And I do hear a lot of complaints about the Child Protective Services and the system. And I mean, it does. I also, on my day job is I'm executive director at Neighborhood Place of Wailuku, and we do a lot of work with Child Protective Services cases. And so there are good people within the system, absolutely. But exactly what you're saying, the laws are set up in a kind of a little bit rigid, and that there's not always And then bringing the whole court system in, this is, you know, it's not really the right way to solve things that are so delicate like families, family matters.
Yeah.
And then, you know, parents like you, really good moms like you, that you just didn't understand how things worked, and then one thing led to another, and then now your children are living in foster care instead of with you.
Yeah. They didn't give me the opportunity. They didn't provide me an interpreter. They didn't help me understand. They ambushed my children. They ambushed them, their primary culture, like my children lost their culture, you know, their primary language.
Yeah.
Very disrespectful. And, you know, as the God is being good to me, you know, like I told you, I also have a prophecy in this land, also prophecy of seeing this situation of my children.
Yeah.
I think God is you know, is a mistake. And, you know, I think I'm going personally, my point of view, going through this, and my children, I'm so sorry you're going through, Hoya, that. But to learn from the situation so we can, I wanted to participate people like this. I wanted to participate, build a non-profit, the non-profit organization I wanted to build is to reunify families. To reunify families who turn apart wars, but reunify families, give us support. Like no one wanted to help me. All the lawyers, the court, I went through 5 lawyers.
Oh, no.
And none of them wanted to appeal. I wanted to thank my friend Garrett, who's volunteering. Hey, Garrett Jensen. Garrett Jensen. I hope I'm saying your name right.
Gerald, I think.
Gerald Jensen. You know who you are. I thank you for coming through for me. You know, we need extraordinary people like that. Otherwise, there wouldn't be any extraordinary stories if there wouldn't be any extraordinary people.
Exactly.
So thanks to you, and never giving up.
Yeah.
Never giving up.
Exactly.
You know, my whole life when I grew up, when I was young, I was told, like, I always say I wanted to get out of here. I want to go to America. And I was told, like, no way, how are you going to get it on your 3rd life as a bird?
And your 3rd life as a bird.
Yeah. I was like, not realizing I came from here my 3rd life before. But anyhow, I was told, like, my parents and everyone around me, and then I made the refugee camp and made it alone, and then I went back to get my family, because my family was always, because I'm the oldest, I was always responsible, taking care of my siblings, and supported my mother. You know, my mother, who went through so much struggle to help us get by. She never married another man. My father was her first. My dream is to help my mother and to get my mother remarried again. That will be a huge thing for me. I dream about it before I came to this country. I wanted to give her freedom. Once upon a time while on this earth, before she goes, I want her to have a real life.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So I always say to my mother, digging in the farm, 9 months pregnant, carrying another little baby because no one to watch at home.
Yeah.
Baby carried at home and digging the thing and carrying all that stick in the, you know, carrying like some stuff on our head, you know, grass, trees on front, baby in the back, pregnant, you know, all this struggle. And I used to think, I always knew that there will be some way that I can help her so she doesn't have to suffer. And I raised my siblings. Always my goal was to help my family. Now my children is my priority, my number one. And my children rescued me. You know, after all that happened to me, the rape and the abuse and everything in my country, I was hating. You know, I was hating men. Before actually I left in Kenya in refugee camp, I married 6 guys in 1 month.
In 1 month?
In 1 month. I know. So meticulous. I was 18 and I was so mad with men. And these guys want to shower me with money before I leave and everything in Nairobi, Kenya, and they want to marry me. So, and I'm still in the ignorance stage. I mean, we're not supposed to seek our revenge, but at the time I wanted to seek revenge.
Okay.
So I remember I went to same judge for 3 times. The 3rd time he said, "Do I know you?"
Yeah, weren't we doing this a couple of weeks ago?
I know. And then my goal was to bring them together and say, this is what you do to women. You marry a bunch of women everywhere you go, and you leave the other one behind and keep marrying and marrying, you know, non-stop. When did your rule stop? So like here in America, no, one cannot marry more than one, right?
Yeah, that's the rule.
That's what I wanted to make obvious, I guess. So I wanted to say, you know, this is what you do to women. It's been done to you. How do you like it? But they keep showing up, you know, they keep showing up where I was, and it stuck in me until I left. But, and I was hidden, and then my son born, Muhammad. And it was amazing. It was the most amazing. It's like in a dark room, and all of a sudden the light came on, you know. It's like the light came on, my son, light came on. And all of a sudden, like, my heart started beating. I started feeling love and a life in me. And
when he was conceived?
yeah, when I was born, when he was born.
When he was born.
Yeah, when he was born, not when he was conceived. When he was born. And my son is the sweetest boy. He's very sweet and smart. But that changed my mind of perspective of believing man. You know, perspective of man, because then I realized that, you know, I don't want some woman treating my son because he's a man.
Yeah.
As a hate.
Right.
So that wake me up.
Right. You saw that both male and female start off innocent.
Innocent, exactly. And it helped me realize I don't have to be a mad man who didn't do anything to me at all. And that
must have been a relief for you.
Oh, huge.
Of pain off of you.
Yes.
Because, you know, I love that saying, revenge is like, or resentment is like taking poison and thinking that it's going to hurt your enemy.
Yeah.
When it just hurts ourselves.
Yeah.
Revenge and resentment and anger, it's a poison to our own body.
Yes. Yeah, I was relieved. I used to have a shoulder pain and all these things. And it was a huge relief when my son was born and brought a life to me, and that changed my life, you know, for better, and brought my darkness to light. And then my daughter, when my daughter was born, it's like my children brought me to different revelation. Like my son was born, it brought me this revelation of mankind and lights. He brought a light.
Yeah.
And then my daughter was born, she brought a wisdom.
Wisdom. How did your daughter bring wisdom?
And education, kind of. Wisdom in a way. It helped me when I remember, like, I always wanted to be a model, right?
Yeah.
So before running in Africa, like in here, I started eating, like when I came here, all this food, all the running after the Civil War and dealing with that. I started eating a lot of food, cooking, like having a steak and chicken, cooking and digging on ice cream. And I turned into like 165.
Oh, you got chubby.
Chubby.
And then you thought, oh, I guess eating all this food does have its downside.
I mean, I still didn't realize, right? I still don't know. Like, in my country, chubby is cute. If you're not chubby, you're not cute. Like, the way I look is not attractive.
They want a little more chubby.
Chubby, yeah. So then, because the modeling thing, like since I saw that picture, I always wanted to be a model because this beautiful picture from 5 years old. And then I went to modeling agency. I find out how do you do that. I don't even know the word modeling, the fashion thing. Like the, you know,
that really got you excited.
Yeah, I always wanted to do that, the modeling thing. So I finally led to a agency in Washington, Seattle.
Okay.
And they were like, the lady said, like, you know, you need to lose a lot of weight.
And nobody ever told you that?
No one ever told me that.
Well, that's the difference between Somalia and America.
I was like, wait, what's wrong with my weight? I thought it was like, oh, good, you know. And so then I was told, like, I need to lose a lot of weight. So, okay, so I can't even try until I lose the weight. I can't even go there. So I went on with my life, and then when my son was 2 years old, I met my daughter's dad, and which was like the first man I ever involved with emotionally. And it's still the last one. Not yet. No,
I haven't met the next one yet.
Yeah. But it was a magical thing, you know, and he's the one who brought me here to the island, you know, Maui.
To Maui.
Because he was from here and joined the Navy. He was in a Navy SEAL when I met him in Washington base in Washington. And after he got out of the Navy, we came here. And later on, things didn't work out. You know, yeah, so.
And then you were saying that, but now you're back in modeling, so.
Yeah.
So you decided
So the modeling, yeah, so what I did, I went there, so I moved on with my life. I was still overweight. Met Daniel, we came here still overweight, 160, 70, 50, going back and forth over there. And then I get pregnant with my daughter. And then when I get pregnant, I start working out. Pregnant, I still losing weight instead of gaining weight.
Was your doctor getting upset with you?
No, because I was working out.
Yeah.
It's like that's why I say my daughter, the wisdom, what she brought it began from my stomach.
Oh, so her spirit brought something into you.
Into me, and helped me see myself. Yeah, I couldn't even see myself. I was running, still like avoiding myself. Yeah. Although my son bring light to me, you know, I was still avoiding myself and what I meant to do. Okay. My purpose.
Right.
And then I started working out, and then my daughter was born 3 months after. I was on the road running. And there's also a prophecy of this island.
So we're getting near the end of the show. So I'm just telling you that in case there's something you really want to make sure you get to say.
Yes. I mean, this island is special to me. And the thing is, I feel like all my spirit came from this island. I have prophesied before I came to this island. Like I've seen every place. I've seen the people. I've seen even my situation. So I've been flying around this island, and that's why my running is like the higher power was telling me, like fly every time. So I guess my flying take on this island in my spirit. So what I wanted to say to the people is, I am looking for a writer. I have a draft of book. I think it's going to be one of the greatest seller. To want to share, inspire people, share my story. So I'm looking for a good writer. I have people contacted me before. If you want to control, I cannot be controlled. So if you want to be part of my team and work with me, cooperate, then please come on board and let's work together and make things happen.
Okay, so, and she's doing a screenplay, so watch out for that. Yes. So again, I want to thank my sponsor, Three's Bar and Grill in Kihei, Kalama Villages. Southwestern Pacific Rim Cuisine. I want to thank my studio producer, David Heckman, and he has a show of his own, Getting to Know Maui show. There's Kihei Kalama Villages, and my great team, Antonio, Linda, Clarence. So thank you so much for, there they are, Linda, Sleepy John Bartolome, and Antonio Gimbernat, production assistant. So we've got a really great team here. So stay tuned, keep watching Netra's News. We're gonna have some great shows. We've got a couple possibilities, something about prison, something about feral cats, many different shows. So thank you and aloha.